Regrets these findings and recognises their gravity. On behalf of the Government, I want to apologise unreservedly to the families for what happened and for the grief and trauma that they have endured since the tragic deaths of their loved ones. Mr. Speaker, I also want to place on record our deepest condolences to the family of Lance Corporal James Freeman, who died in a tragic accident on Sunday. Mr. Speaker, I'm also aware of a Royal Navy helicopter crash this morning in Devon. This will be a deeply worrying time for the families, and more information will be set out as soon as possible. Mr. Speaker, Henry Nowak's family have shown extraordinary dignity after their son's life was stolen in appalling circumstances. He was clearly a kind and thoughtful and much-loved young man. There are serious questions to answer, including how accusations of racism informed police thinking, and we're supporting the IOPC to get to the bottom of what happened. But no matter the pain we feel, there is no justification for more violence and disorder. The attacks directed towards police officers in Southampton last night were disgraceful and completely unacceptable. This is a time for serious work, not rage. And let me be clear, we will ensure anyone found engaging in disorder meets the full force of the law, as we have done before. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others, in addition to my duties in this House. I shall have further such meetings later today.
Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I associate myself with your remarks about Lord Alan Hazelhurst and confirm to the Leader of the Opposition that he will be missed on all sides? Can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks about Lance Corporal James Freeman, who was killed in Iraq? Our thoughts are with the family and the unit. And can I also offer our thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of the 17 people who tragically drowned during the recent heatwave, many of them children. Mr. Speaker, the murder of Henry Nowak was an evil crime made much worse by the lies of the killer and the police response. The investigation must uncover all things that went wrong, and all police forces must act on its conclusions. Outside court, Henry's father made a powerful plea that his son's murder should not be used to create further division, but should be used to treat knife crime as a national emergency. Does the Prime Minister agree that the victims of knife crime and their families deserve a politics where we come together to solve these problems and not use them as a political football?
Can I first join him in paying tribute to the 17 people who lost their lives in the heat wave, many of them, as he says, young, and each of them tragic, and send our condolences to their families. In relation to the case of Henry Nowak, can I thank him for the approach that he has taken in this as well. It is important in a case like this, which is so tragic, and anybody who's seen the footage will have been deeply moved by it. It is important that we reflect on our own leadership roles here as political leaders. And it is our duty to bring people together at a time like this, not seek to divide people. It is particularly our duty to listen to what the devastated family are asking of us as political leaders. And can I thank all of those that have acted in that way, because I think that's the right way to respond.
Before the next exchange, let me explain what is actually being argued here. Two-tier policing is a term used to describe a policing approach where officers apply different levels of scrutiny, intervention or enforcement, depending on the ethnicity or background of the individual involved. Nigel Farage told Parliament today that this approach is, in his words, written down in ink. That police bosses have issued written instructions telling officers to treat different ethnic groups in different ways. Keir Starmer told Parliament today, directly on the record, "I do not believe there is two-tier policing in this country." Both statements were made in Parliament today. Both are now part of the parliamentary record. Here is what Keir Starmer said next.
The country is united in its horror at the tragic death of Henry Nowak. And would the Prime Minister once again join me in paying tribute to the courage of Henry's family in the face of this tragedy? And will he also join me in calling for the recognition of the serious mistakes made by the police, and that we must learn from those mistakes so that no family may face this tragedy again?
Well, can I thank him for raising this really important case? And my thoughts are with Henry's family. I'm sure the thoughts of the whole House and the whole country. I have watched the body cam footage, as others will have done. I found it really hard. It was harrowing. As a dad of a 17-year-old boy, I felt sick. I can only imagine how devastated his family are. It is extremely moving. Henry's life has been stolen. His family have responded with incredible and immense dignity and bravery. Now, there clearly are lessons, Mr. Speaker, that need to be learnt, serious questions that need to be addressed, not least this question about accusations of racism informed decision-making in such cases. Henry's father said this: "We do not want his death to be used to create further division, hatred or tension." They're the words of a grieving father who's lost his son. We do not want his death to be used to create further division, hatred or tension. I think those words have resonated with people across the country. We must not allow this tragedy to be hijacked by anyone who seeks to divide us.
Nigel Farage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Following the horrendous circumstances of Henry Nowak's death, can I urge the Prime Minister to consider this? It is now clear to growing millions in this country that we're living under two-tier policing. The instructions that are given to police officers from police bosses are clear and written down in ink. It says you must treat different ethnic groups in different ways. That, apart from the upset and the anger at the circumstances of his death, the anger that you saw spilling out in Southampton last night, and which is in danger,
condemn the violence,
which is in danger of getting considerably worse if the public lose trust.
condemn it.
If the public lose trust in being treated fairly by the police, can he take some action, end this divisive practice of two-tier policing, and make sure that all British citizens are treated the same?
Mr. Speaker, I don't believe there's two-tier policing in this country. I'm really shocked that he pretends to have respect for Henry's family and then acts in this way. They are a grieving family.
Mr. Brash, please. It's a very important question. I want to hear the Prime Minister. If you want to carry on, go outside, please, Prime Minister.
The grieving family have asked us not to respond in the way that the Leader of Reform has responded. They've asked us not to. They have lost their son in the most appalling circumstance. They make a simple plea of us as human beings to please not exploit that. That is their plea to us. We all need to reflect on those words of Henry's father. My response, and the response of others, to be fair, has been focused on the lessons to be learned so we can deliver justice. His response has been to appeal for rage. Rage. That's his response to a father who's lost his son, and ask for that not to happen. Exploiting this tragedy to create grievance and division would be wrong in any circumstances, but to do it when the family are expressly saying, please don't, is unforgivable. It shows exactly who he is.
Keir Starmer just said that exploiting this tragedy to create grievance and division, when the family are expressly asking for that not to happen, is unforgivable. Henry Nowak's father made a public statement outside court. He said, "We do not want his death to be used to create further division, hatred or tension." That statement was read into the parliamentary record today by the Prime Minister. Parliament now has two irreconcilable positions in front of it. The first, that two-tier policing is written down in government documents and must be confronted directly. The second, that raising this argument in the immediate aftermath of a family's grief is itself a political act that the family has explicitly asked political leaders not to perform. Both positions were stated in Parliament today, on the record, by the leaders of their respective parties. The Home Secretary confirmed today that the Independent Office for Police Conduct, the IOPC, is investigating what happened on the night Henry Nowak died. The IOPC is the independent body responsible for overseeing the police complaints system in England and Wales. Its investigations are independent of both the police and the government. The Home Secretary said specifically that the investigation will examine how accusations of racism informed police thinking in this case. That is a significant admission. It means the government itself has acknowledged that the question of whether race affected the police response to Henry Nowak is a live investigative question, not a political talking point. The IOPC investigation is ongoing. Its findings have not yet been published. Parliament will return to this. So here is where this stands after today's debate in Parliament. Henry Nowak was murdered. A man has been found guilty. The bodycam footage from the night of his death has been described as harrowing. The IOPC is investigating whether race affected the police response. The government has confirmed this is a live investigative question. In Parliament today, the leader of Reform UK said, two-tier policing is written down in ink. The Prime Minister said it does not exist. Henry Nowak's father asked political leaders not to use his son's death to create further division. Both political leaders heard that plea today. This is the public record. New analysis every week, what Parliament says and what the numbers actually show. Subscribe if you want the full picture.